Hey Cohasset, my name is Justin Shrair, Communications and Community Engagement Specialist. We've got a great show for you today. We want to welcome you to a special edition of Cohasset Comment. Today we're going to be chatting with the National Weather Service. We're going to be talking a little bit about severe weather preparedness. We're also going to be talking to the Sandy Beach Association, and we're going to be chatting with the Old Salt House, a little bit about how their season has been going, and we're also going to chat with JJ's, the iconic ice cream shop here in town, so stay tuned. From nor'easters to other strong storms, the South Shore is not immune to Mother Nature's power. Through local, state, and federal partnerships, there are many people who are working around the clock to try and make sure you are prepared for the next big weather event. On the federal level, National Weather Service meteorologist Andy Nash is one of those people.
The National Weather Service, our main mission is protection of life and property from severe weather, from climate, from flooding. So we're the ones that, in addition to doing daily forecasts, we're the ones that issue the warnings, tornado warnings, winter storm warnings, and in the case of hurricanes, hurricane warnings.
One of the tools the National Weather Service uses to help warn communities about potential bad weather is with radar.
Underneath that protective dome, there is an antenna that is spinning around, and it is sending out pulses of energy that bounce off snowflakes or raindrops, hailstones, come back to us, and we can look at that on our radar system, or our computer system. It's also detecting how that wind is moving. So that's how we can also detect when we have a swirl in the atmosphere or in a thunderstorm that could suggest there could be a tornado. So we use these radars, and there's a whole network across the whole country that we are using to just track where all the rain is, where all the thunderstorms are, and as a hurricane is coming up the coast and approaching us, we'll be able to see that hurricane a couple hundred miles off the coast, see those rain bands, get an idea of how heavy that rain is going to be, how strong the winds are, and use that to, tell people, here's what's coming in the next couple of hours.
In May, forecasters at the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration's Climate Prediction Center said they believed there would be above-average hurricane activity this year for the 2022 Atlantic hurricane season, which runs from June 1st to November 30th. Nash talked about the South Shore.
So for the South Shore, really we see a lot of storm surge flooding from the nor'easters. So that's a bit more of a regular occurrence. We get those once or twice a year, and some big ones every so often. Hurricane is a little more rare, getting up into here.
He says southern New England sticks out into the ocean, so if there is a hurricane coming up the East Coast, we could be in the strike zone. He says hurricanes bring the potential for strong damaging winds and storm surges.
These hurricanes can bring winds, will bring winds that are more powerful than a nor'easter. So we're talking winds over 100 miles an hour. So that's going to bring down all sorts of trees and power lines. There's going to be massive power outages. Also the storm surge, depending on that track of that hurricane, we could see some very significant storm surge going pretty far into Cohasset and up and down the South Shore.
Nash says because of this, it's important to be prepared for storms early.
So we need to be prepared for a hurricane that's coming up, because if you wait until there's a hurricane that is, let's say, in the Bahamas or off the coast of North Carolina, as these hurricanes move up the coast, they start to move faster. The forward speed increases, and it can take 12 hours for a hurricane to go from the coast of North Carolina up into southern New England. There is no way that you're going to be able to prepare to, get everything moved, put into a safe place in your house, or if you live on the coast, border up your windows or whatever. You don't have 12 hours is no time to get any of that. That's at that point you need to be already getting out of the area to someplace safe. You need to know where you're going to go. Do you have pets? Are you going to a shelter? Does the shelter accept pets? Maybe you're going to a friend's house. Well, where is your friend's house or your family? Making sure that you can get out in time before the traffic gets all clogged from people trying to evacuate the coastal areas. Because remember, it's not just Cohasset, it's going to be up and down across the whole area affected. We need to prepare early. We need to have your supplies in case there's power that's going to be out for weeks. Make sure you've got some water, got some food that's going to carry you over for a couple of weeks. If you live in a flood-prone area, know that ahead of time. Know where you're going to evacuate. Cohasset along the coast, I think people know in nor'easters, there's flooding from the surge in a nor'easter. A hurricane, if it's coming up in the right direction, the right speed, can do just that type of damage as a big nor'easter, or even worse.
So you and your family can stay safe.
We're here 24/7. We're monitoring the weather and trying to get that information out about incoming severe weather so that people can take action, have the time to keep themselves safe, because we never want to see anyone get hurt or killed from weather, and we're here to try to provide that information.
For the town of Cohasset, I'm Justin Shrair. As we move into August, Annette Sawchuk, president of the Sandy Beach Association, says so far it has been a great summer. Sandy Beach typically opens Father's Day weekend, and their last day open is on Labor Day.
It's been great. A lot of people, it's been, as everybody knows, it's been a very hot summer. So we've had very busy weekends, a lot of busy time during the week too. I think with people working from home more, I think that allows people to get to the beach more.
The Sandy Beach Association says they are a private developed barrier beach owned and managed by the Sandy Beach Association, as set forth in a trust established in 1917 for the recreational use by Cohasset residents. The town of Cohasset owns the beach parking lot and works collaboratively with the SBA to meet the parking needs of beachgoers.
1917, there were a group of men who got together. They had the foresight to buy this property so that people in Cohasset would have a place to go to the beach. And that happened 1917. In 2017, we did a capital campaign. We redid the bathhouse, added the snack bar, and we needed to upgrade. We didn't have handicap bathrooms; those needed to be upgraded. All of the utilities were under the cement slab. The last bathhouse was built in 1970, so it was time to upgrade.
Sandy Beach is open to Cohasset residents only who have purchased an all facilities sticker. You can also scan the QR code up on the screen for more information. Stickers are valid from April 1st, 2022 through March 31st of 2023. Sawchuk says over the last few years it hasn't been as busy.
Last year we were still in a little bit of the COVID, but the year before with COVID, we had real restrictions on how many people we could have at the beach to be able to social distance. On really hot days, the tide's high, the beach gets smaller. So there were days that we had to close the parking lot, not for a long time, just until cars left and then till we could manage the people on the beach.
Sawchuk says while she wants everyone in Cohasset to be able to enjoy the beach, she does have a message for kids.
Just, if you don't know how to swim, don't get out there over your head. I mean, we have lifeguards that are on the beach and they take care of that, but just be cognizant of how you feel in the water and how comfortable you are in the water. And then when the lifeguard blows a whistle, you need to come in.
As well as for all beachgoers to make sure that any trash that they carry onto the beach with them makes it off the beach when they leave.
So we would like people to get in the mindset of carry in and carry out, to take your trash home. If you see a trash can that's full, please don't leave your trash beside the trash can, because it blows on the beach, it blows across the little harbor. And the covers have to be on the trash cans because the seagulls will come down.
So that everyone can continue to enjoy the beauty of Sandy Beach.
It's great. It's what we're here for. This is what we prepare for all year. We get the beach cleaned up and bathrooms clean, the bathhouse open, lifeguards on the sand, and it's great for us to see that, for people to enjoy it.
Reporting for Cohasset, I'm Justin Shrair. And welcome back here to Cohasset Common. I am Justin Shrair, your host. We've moved down the road over to JJ's. Lily Sestito is joining me right now. She is the co-owner of JJ's. Lily, how are you today?
I'm doing great. Thank you, Justin. How are you?
I am well. Thank you so much for joining us on this special edition of Cohasset Common. Woo-hoo. So talk to me first off a little bit about JJ's. JJ's is an iconic spot here in Cohasset. How many years have you been here for, and how has the summer been going so far?
Well, I've been here since I was 13. I started working for the previous owner. His name was Frank Loyacono, or everyone knows him as Loki. And Loki hired me in August, and I kept wondering why in August. Now I know it's because all the college kids go back. So I started working here then, and actually was trained by the woman he bought the place from. Her name was Charlotte Urell from Hingham, and her and her sister owned it before that. But JJ's has been here since the 1950s. So it's been a long time, and my husband Joe and I bought it in 1989. So we've been the owners since then.
What has it been like since 1989, seeing this place evolve over many, many years?
Well, it's been kind of crazy. It's been great. We've tried to keep it as much. As much as the old days as possible. Still serving a lot of the same things that we were serving back then, and because I love nothing more than to hear someone say, this place hasn't changed, and we kind of keep it. We want to keep it that way. Basically, if it ain't broke, why fix it? So, but we've seen a lot of growth. We've seen a lot of new families. We've seen generations come in. We've seen people come in and say, well, I came here with my parents, and now they're bringing their grandchildren. So it's been great.
Absolutely. So how has the summer of 2022 been? I assume it's been better than the last couple of years so far?
It's been a great summer, a lot of heat this summer. So it's funny, we always laugh because once it gets up over 90, everyone's at the beaches. They're not sitting outside eating as much. But it's still been a really good summer, so can't complain. And I think everyone's getting back into the swing of things. Once COVID hit, we had to change the way we were serving. We had to change the parking. The marks are still out in the parking lot. They don't go away as quickly as we thought they would. So some people are like, oh, am I supposed to pull up front? Is it a drive-through? I don't get it, but it's worked out.
Absolutely. So talk to me a little bit about why you think that this is such an iconic place. Whenever I talk to people around Cohasset, they always mention you got to check out JJ's. Why do you think that is?
Again, I think it's because it's been the same for so long. Once the fact that I was trained by, two previous owners, and we've tried to keep it, as I said, the same. I think that's what people like, and we're only open seasonally, so people know, they got to get their licks in quick because then we're closed for the season. And it's, I think people are like, oh, they judge the summer by that. Once we start opening, they're like, oh my gosh, JJ's is open, it must be summertime. But it's funny, I always say we could open in April, it could be a rainy day, and they're lined up on the streets, and then we could have a beautiful October day, and they sail right by. Because they're, they've had their fill of ice cream. They're on to back to school, and so it's. I think that's what makes it kind of iconic. It's the fact that it is seasonal.
And so when do you guys typically open, and when are you guys typically going to be shutting things down here?
So we usually try to open right around tax time. Figure, take the burden off of people so they can have a cold one. And then we try to close either the last Sunday in September. We'd like to stay open through Columbus Day if possible, but it all depends on the help situation, because we do employ a lot of high school kids and college kids, and it all depends on their schedules. We do have some older veterans like myself, but we, typically everyone starts going back to school, so it depends on their schedules on when we can stay open. So either the last Sunday in September or right after Columbus Day.
This will be a tough question for you. What is your favorite flavor of ice cream that you guys have here?
Well, if we're talking soft serve, I'm a half and half. I love my half and half with crunch coat. Gotta have the crunch coat. Hard ice cream, it's a toss-up. I'd have to say either Moose Tracks or Peppermint Stick, depending on if I'm feeling chocolatey or just sweet. So
That's wonderful. That's wonderful. So before we kind of close this out, I do want to ask you, I hear that you're a singer as well. Is that correct?
It is.
So talk to me about that, and where do you sing, and where can folks see you sing and perform?
Okay. Well, I've been singing my whole life. I started singing, my first place in public was at the Italian feast that's going to be coming up, the Madonna della Luce, up in the woods of the Glastonbury Abbey. And I was 8 years old the first time I sang in public. But I've been singing in church. I sang in a band a long time ago. I sing typically anything that the veterans at the Cohasset Legion, anything that they would like me to sing for, usually Memorial Day, Veterans Day, if they have, if I'm around and they have something for that, Flag Day. But then right now I'm singing usually every other Saturday afternoon, 5:30 Mass at St. Anthony's in Cohasset. So.
That's great. Wonderful. So if folks want to get their ice cream fix before you guys close, they've got several more weeks to come out here.
Yeah.
What time are you guys open until at night, and what time do you guys open in the morning?
So typically we open around 11, except for on Sundays we open at noon. And right now, so it's kind of changing because of the kids getting ready to go back to school. So we're closing at 9 on the weekdays and 10 on Saturday and Friday and Saturday. But that's going to be changing soon. So pretty much once they start going back to school, we'll be closing around 8 o'clock or 8:30, 8:30.
Okay. Check the Facebook page for updates.
Yes. Yes, absolutely.
Wonderful. Lily, thank you so much for joining me today.
Thank you. It was wonderful. Thank
Absolutely.
You. And come get some ice cream.
Sounds great. I love my ice cream, so we will definitely get some. Thank you very much. Welcome back to Cohasset Common. I'm Justin Shrair, your host. Today we are here at the Old Salt House. Linda Burlingame is the general manager here. Linda, good to see you. Thank you for coming on to Cohasset Common.
Well, thank you for coming.
Absolutely. So talk to me first off a little bit about the history behind the Old Salt House before we kind of get into some of your iconic dishes here.
Well, the Salt House was built in 1760. It was about the time they completed construction. The stone piers, of course, came first, and you can see the granite, the big, huge blocks of granite. That took about 10 years to build. So they started that in about 1750. And this salt house was actually not originally a salt house.
Really?
Because it wasn't until they discovered that they could harvest salt at Sandy Beach. It was one of the first places where they started to harvest it, and then store it here themselves instead of importing it from Europe. So that was, sometime in the 1800s when it became a salt house. And it was other things too, a general store at one point, and a few things like that.
That's great. And so you're the general manager here.
I am,
How
yes.
long have you worked here?
Just a couple of months. My first day was Memorial Day.
Okay, great. So how has it been so far for you, and how has it been this summer for the Old Salt House?
It's been a really nice summer. The patio is brand new. They finished it. It was built last year towards the end of the year over the winter. We opened in Memorial weekend was our first full weekend, and we were packed. It was very, very busy. People were so happy that we were back and that the patio is brand new and beautiful, and the beautiful views. So we've had a good summer. People love the Salt House.
That's wonderful. So talk to me a little bit about this patio. I know you said it's brand new,
Mm-hmm.
just opened this summer. Mm-hmm. When folks come here over the summer, do they typically sit out here on the patio?
Most do. Most want the view. It is beautiful, and the fishermen going by. It's still a commercial fishing pier there. So yeah, people like to sit on the patio. The very hot days and humid days that we just experienced, a lot of people wanted to sit inside. The pub was quite full every day. So, but
That's awesome.
Now that we're back to some reasonable weather, people want to be outside again.
Wonderful. And you all have a full menu here, is that correct?
Yes, we do.
Okay. So what are some of the iconic dishes that we're going to be seeing today?
Well, the kitchen is preparing a lobster roll for you, which is our most popular sandwich. They're also making a harbor burger, which comes with bacon and cheese, and the various sides. So we have onion rings coming with one of them, fries coming with one, and then a small side salad, which is the choice you get for the sandwiches, for the sides.
That's wonderful. So talk to me a little bit about why you believe the Old Salt House is such an iconic restaurant here in Cohasset.
You know, it became a restaurant in, I think it was 1960, and it was part of Hugo's. It's been part of every restaurant there, sort of pub, the more formal, fancy dining over there, and then the pub over here. So it's just a part of Cohasset. It has been for so long.
That's wonderful. What is it like seeing the smiling faces and people
It is
coming
very
in?
gratifying. People love the food, they love the atmosphere, they love the music. It's just, yeah. I mean, we don't have live music, but they like, they just, everything about it really. So.
Especially after a long winter when we know that it does get cold here in New England.
Yes, it does.
Especially here in Massachusetts after that long winter and the sun starts to shine again and it seems like those days start to get longer. it's great to probably see folks come out here
It is.
and enjoy the summer.
It is. It's really fabulous. I mean, people are happy when they come here. It's relaxing. It's wonderful. Yeah.
So I got to ask you, just because I've gotten a lot of questions from folks, how long does this, does the outdoors here, does the patio stay open?
Well, we hope to stay open well into the fall. It obviously is weather related, depending on the weather, but we'll stay open as long as we can.
That's wonderful. What is it like eating some of the food here? Have you tasted some of it?
Every bit of it. It's really good. It's very good food. It's we have the sort of classic harborside fish dishes, and then some more pub type dishes too. So we kind of appeal to everybody.
So here's my big question: do you have a favorite? Do you have a favorite meal here?
The fish tacos, which I didn't ask them to make, but
you like those?
They're very good.
That's great. That's great. What would you say is the iconic piece of food here that folks should order? If somebody has never been here and they come to the Old Salt House and they sit down, what would you recommend to them?
I think I would recommend the Old Salt House platter, which is a fisherman's platter. It comes with clams and scallops, shrimp and calamari, and French fries and onion rings, and the lobster roll. That is really, people come just for the lobster roll sometimes.
That's awesome. So it's funny when we were looking at different places and looking at different restaurants to sit down for a special edition of Cohasset Common, I spoke to many people and everybody kept saying, you got to check out the Old Salt House. What is that
really
like,
that
having that big support from the community?
There's a lot of community support. We have a lot of regulars, the neighbors. A lot of them walk over, bring their children. It's a real family place. Yeah, so it's nice. We feel really welcomed by the community.
Wonderful, wonderful. And you all are open over the winter time as well,
Yes.
or is this just a summer restaurant?
No, we're open in the winter. We have a pub inside with 3 booths and a bar, and seating for about 25 people maybe. Sometimes we're quite full. If it's raining or if it's really hot, the bar can be very full. So.
Reservations recommended, or
We
people
do
can just
not
stop,
take
people can stop on in?
reservations. Yeah, it's walk-in service. So we don't take reservations at this time. I don't know if we will ever.
Okay.
So.
Hamburger, we've got the lobster roll, we've got the salad. It all looks wonderful. Linda, what do we have coming up next?
Our bartender, Rich, is making some signature cocktails for you to try.
Wonderful. So we'll go speak with him. Linda, thank you so
Excellent.
much for joining me on Cohasset
Thank you
Common.
very much.
Great to
It's
meet
great
you.
to meet you
The
too.
food looks wonderful.
Thank you.
And we'll see you around town.
Perfect.
All right, and we'll see you in the next couple of minutes. Next up are the drinks. All right, we're back here on Cohasset Common with Rich Farwell. He is the bartender here at the Old Salt House. Rich, Justin, good to see you. Welcome to a special edition of Cohasset Common.
Thank you very much, Justin.
Absolutely. So talk to me a little bit about some of the drinks that we've got here. We saw some of the food that looks amazing, and these drinks look phenomenal as well. What do we got?
Right now we got here is the Mai Tai, which is made with a blend of white and dark rum with some orgeat liqueur, which is an almond extract. It really brings out the complete flavor of the Mai Tai. Then here we have what we call the Lavender Haze, and that was made with the 1804 Empress Gin and with a splash of lavender simple syrup. We also have here is a Peach John Daly, which is made with Bird Dog Peach whiskey and tea.
Wonderful. So what are some, I assume these are some of the fan favorites?
Absolutely, these
Okay.
are fan favorites.
That's great.
Especially our Lavender Haze here.
Wonderful.
That Lavender Haze with the gin, the Empress Gin, is one of our popular ones.
I'm curious if you have a favorite drink here.
I do.
What's
I have
that?
the Peach John Daly.
Wonderful, wonderful. And you also have drinks for those who are under 21 as well, and soda and all that kind of fun stuff.
Correct, we do. We have just a choice of sodas. We have lemonade.
Why do you like it so much? You got to be a people person.
Yes, I am definitely a people person, especially the locals that live around the area here. Very entertaining, to talk to the different customers that come through the bar.
All right, Rich, thank you so much for coming on Cohasset Common today, and thank you all for joining us. We are here at the Old Salt House, and we will see you soon. I'm Justin Shrair. Thank you so much. And that's a wrap on today's show. Thank you so much for joining us on a special edition of Cohasset Comment. I'm your host once again, Justin Shrair, Communications and Community Engagement Specialist for the town of Cohasset. Thank you so much, and we'll see you around town.